So hello guys, I am Suk Sulfur and I welcome you to our new YouTube channel, the Codesters. And here we teach you everything about programming, coding, and almost everything related to the coding tech world. So please subscribe our channel, go hit the subscribe button, destroy it, and just press the bell icon so that you receive our notifications and you don't get late in catching up the most latest tech stuff in the coding world. And today's topic is about top five programming languages that you need to learn in order to get a job at big tech companies like Google and Microsoft. So without any delay, without wasting our both time, let's begin.
One, two, three, four. Wiggle, 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 yeah. Aye, yeah.
So guys, I wanted to make it clear that this list isn't like a very firm list. This is based on some research from different websites like Indeed.com, from job market, and this may vary from person to person. I love maybe Java is very easy for me. For on the other hand, maybe JavaScript is very easy for you, or maybe JavaScript is hard for me and Java is easy for you. That varies from person to person. I don't want to offend anyone by saying that this is hard and that is tough and this is not in demand. So I don't say that. At last, all languages do have their demands, but these are the top five trending languages today in the world, and this was by research. Maybe these goes up in coming days, comes down in coming days, but we are gonna take the list that will be applied for 2021 also because 2020 is almost at an end, and I think the trend will continue, and if the trend changes, we're there, we'll bring it up to you. If there's a new framework coming up, we'll be bringing it to you. So the the conclusion is that this is a list based on some research. There's no personal things here like I love JavaScript so I'll put it up, or I love Java so I'll put it up. There's nothing like that. It's totally based on research. So, guys, now let's discuss about the factors that we considered during this research. Like the top three factors that I considered was the job market or the freelancing demand. So, job also and freelancing also. So, if you do these languages, you're gonna get demand both. So, you can do a job as well as you can do freelancing. That's up to you afterwards. The ease of learning of the languages, and the third factor is the community and the trends. So now you may say that trend, if there is a trend, there will be jobs. So it's not always the case now. If you see, there are new languages that are trending right now, but the job market isn't that mature as it is for the older languages like C++ or maybe Java. So the relatively, we'll be discussing it on this again. This can vary. Like I have one more like ease of learning. Now in ease of learning, like you always have to agree that JavaScript is easier than Java, or Python is easier than Java. So that is a general trend around people. Now, again, I don't say it's really firm because it's like if there's a Java expert or there's a guy who's really passionate about Java, he may find it easier than Python or maybe easier than JavaScript. That again varies, it's personal. But if you take the general trend or the average value of that thing, it has been calculated according to it. So, guys, the fifth language that is on the list is Java. Now, what is Java? So Java is a programming language that was made in 1995 by Oracle, and it is now used in many sections like the mobile app development, web application development, connecting to databases, and it's a very old language, and hence the job market for it is really mature. So now coming to our factors that we were going to consider, the job market and the freelancing demand. So in job market, many huge companies like Google, Pinterest, Uber, as well as Instagram are powering some parts of their, the applications using Java. So you can see like these big tech companies also forgot about Uber. Uber is also using Java in some parts of their, you know, some parts of the working, and Java has a really mature market if you want to go into jobs. And about freelancing, so when it comes to freelancing, if you are aiming for some internships or projects, Java has a lot of projects. Though I would say that it's not, the number is really comparable to the job. but I would say yeah, they have it, but in a less amount than the jobs. Coming to the next factor, that is ease of learning. So the ease of learning, guys, it maybe I found it very difficult, and again, it's relative. So let's talk about the ease. When I asked some of my friends and saw the general trends in Quora, I researched a bit Quora to see like what's the real trend. So it was that when you're a beginner in some programming language, when you don't know the concepts, like many people take up Java in the very beginning, or they have it in the schools. So at that stage, Java may be a bit difficult for you. And yeah, I personally taken Java for the very first time for Android applications, but then I dropped it because I didn't like it. I switched to Flutter, which is why Google will be talking about it later, not in this video, the next video, or maybe the next. We'll see about it. So the ease, maybe it will be a bit difficult for the beginners. I guess it is going to be it's going to be difficult for the beginners. If you see the Google Trends, you can see that Java has a steady search rate here. So you can see the demand for Java is steady. It isn't increasing. It isn't decreasing. So yeah, Java has really good, you know, good demand in the market still. Coming to the trends in the community, so I told you like seeing the Google trends, it's steady, so you can't say it's increasing, it's decreasing, it's steady right now. And about the community is very huge, like really huge. If you get any doubt, it's very unlikely that your doubt is not going to be on some website like Stack Overflow or some other website. You have a really big and a supportive community in Java, so there are many groups that are there for Java. You can just search it on Google. There are a lot of YouTube channels for Java. Like if I tell you there's a channel by the name Free Code Camp who teaches it for free. You can visit there if you want to learn Java. Or there are a lot of Udemy courses by many instructors. So guys, this was about Java. That is comes on the fifth in a list. Let's go for the fourth language. So, guys, coming on to our fourth number, we have C++. Yeah, now most of you will say like, "Oh, C++," and I saw a lot of YouTube videos like, "Sure, you learn C++ in 2020. Is it worth or is it good?" I would say yes, and that too in certain parameters, not fully. I'll tell you it later. So C++. So it has a really good demand still in the market, and there are many operations that companies do using C++. There are very big companies like Microsoft, LinkedIn, and Facebook that are using C++ in some part of the applications. I'm not sure about it because they don't have it, I guess. So yeah, they are powered by C++. So you can say that C++ is still used by big tech companies. And so coming to our factors, or the factors of the job market and freelancing demand. So now comes the parameter. I'd say C++ isn't useful as like everywhere, and so the job market is really good for C++. You can still find a lot of jobs for C++, and if you you know you're expert in C++ or you master C++, then it can be relatively easy for you to get a job at really good big tech companies. Now, I have, I just listed some of the very famous companies like LinkedIn and Facebook, but there are other companies that you need to consider. They are also using these technologies. So do keep on the list. Just go and search it on Google. Coming to the second, ease of learning. So in ease of learning, I would say it's intermediate, and yeah, it's intermediate for a beginner. It will not be so difficult, and it's not going to be very easy too. So I would say that if you're a beginner, you can consider that it's intermediate. But we'll come to the community and clear it out that like what to do is difficult why to start it. So coming to the community and trends, the community is really big for C++ as it's very old. Like I don't know the year or two. It's really old, and C++ has a really big community. It's again supportive. If you get in doubt, just go on Stack Flow. stackoverflow.com and just search it out. You probably gonna get it like 99.99%. It's the case. And following about the trends, the trends is like it was stable some years back now, and again when you come at the end it rises and it falls back. So yeah, the trend is really good for C++ again. And yeah, you can go for this language if you are looking for a job. Now I missed the freelancing demand, I'm really sorry for that. If you're considering freelancing, then it's not a good idea at all. I would say, from a personal opinion and from the research, it's not a good idea to take C++ as a freelancing thing, because the jobs are less in C++. I don't say there are none or there are zero, and we are talking about relative terms. So like if you take C++, relatively in freelancing, it will be very difficult to find projects. And again, there are a lot of people who are competing in that community. So I was talking on the basis, so don't come again and attack me that what C++ has a lot of jobs. Okay, okay, come on, let's move on to a third language. So on number three, we have Swift. Now, you guys maybe go on Google and search the general popularity. You'll find that Java or C++ is more in demand than the Swift. But why did I place it on the third number? Like, why did I place Swift on third number? So the trend is changing. Okay, now see, most of due to the COVID-19, most of you are at home and like working from home. So now a lot of companies need. I don't mean the big tech companies, but I also mean the small scale companies or the medium scale companies. Uh, and many business solutions also need, a work from home solution. And according to the expected trend, Swift is going to grow. And this is how what I came to research. This may be wrong, but even I feel that this is going to take place because of the current situation. And yeah, so where is Swift used and what is Swift? So Swift is a programming language that is used to build iOS apps. And a lot of freelancing jobs today are based on app development. So if you there are still many people who don't prefer cross-platform apps, like app developments like Flutter or React Native. They still like the Java, Kotlin, and the Swift on the iOS side. So there's a lot of demand for Swift, and the companies that have a separate, like before this cross-platform came and took demand in the market, there were like these companies had two teams. Like one was for the Android, one was for the iOS, and really big companies which are really big now, they don't normally switch like many do, but I'm saying that they normally prefer the technology, because switching between the technologies isn't easy for big tech companies. So you can see that Swift has a really good job market. So starting with the factors, the factor first was the freelancing demand and the job thing. So in terms of job, Swift is really good, really good. You want to be, if it was your dream to build an iOS app and rank on the App Store, or that kind of thing, and you wanted a job in some big company or maybe Apple itself, then Swift is next to none. You need to learn Swift if you want to build iOS apps. And coming to the freelancing demand, so I didn't wasn't sure about that, so I just went on Upwork and searched for iOS apps, and there were a lot of companies, or there are a lot of people who needed iOS apps. And yeah, many of you will say that now the cross-platform technologies are taking place, but even when I ask my friends, most of them still love Java and several solutions. They don't know. I didn't meet anyone who is knowing Swift, but yeah, I met people who really like the native technologies. So yeah, that way Swift is really good. Ease is again intermediate, easier than Java. I would say easier than Java, and I can't compare it with C++. I don't know why, but yeah, you're just coming to there. It's intermediate and it's easier than Java. So you can go for Swift, and yeah, if it's your dream, give it a try. If it's your dream to build an iOS app that ranks up on the App Store, yeah, just give it a try. And then coming to a third factor, the trends and the community. So Swift has a really good trend in the on the Google trend chart, and it has decreased a bit, but yeah, it's okay. The job market is really good still for Swift. Coming to the community is also really good. Now, if we compare to Java, then the community is a bit small for Swift because Swift has a lot of limitations on you. Like you need a Mac, and all of us cannot afford a Mac for just learning Swift. So yeah, there are many solutions like you can use a virtual, we say the virtual OS or something like that. I don't know about that. I'm not really known to it. I heard it from a friends. So you can use something like a virtual environment or something. That is a solution, but mostly people prefer because you need to test apps on the iOS emulator, and there's not an iOS emulator for the Android, so it becomes really difficult for some of them to get access to Swift. And yeah, that's the main reason that Swift community is a bit you know lesser as compared to the Java community. But yeah, I would say that it's comparable, really good community. So even if you're caring that I will not get a good community and supportive things, then that's wrong. You will get it. And the last thing, should you learn it? That's a big thing. Yeah, you should learn it if you want to build iOS apps. Okay. Now, if you want to build Android apps, then I wouldn't say that go with Swift. It would be like learn Swift if you want to build iOS apps, and if you have a high budget to buy a Mac, or you already have a Mac in your your family member has Mac or something like that, then go for Swift. It's a really good language and a really good demand. As I told you, a lot of companies are using it. Okay, coming to the second language, we have JavaScript. Now, it's really amazing to see the drastic change in like the thing which used to run only on the browser is now running in the backend, and also the machine learning model in TensorFlow JS. If you don't know, you can just Google it. Like, it has a machine learning thing. Like TensorFlow is all about machine learning, and that algorithm thing I'm not known to it. I'm learning it still, so I'm really, you can say noob at TensorFlow still. So you can say, yeah, there's a version of TensorFlow for JavaScript. So now you can see the growing demand for JavaScript. And I had never really imagined that JavaScript would reach this level. And so like JavaScript was first used in browsers like document.getElement by ID, and now it's like JavaScript has Node, which is a JavaScript runtime, which is used in the backend for like backend in web apps. It's really popularly used in web apps, and JavaScript has evolved in many fields. Like I told you, in machine learning and web apps, there are UI development things like UI development frameworks for JavaScript, like Angular, React, and Vue, and they're really confusing. We'll be making a video on which to choose one, but yeah. So the JavaScript has evolved. There, JavaScript is in the backend. JavaScript is used to make chatbots now, and I heard a lot of them using JavaScript. It's really amazing to see the growth of JavaScript just from our browser to conquering the whole world. It's a really big thing. So now, if you come to jobs of JavaScript, there are a lot and lot of jobs. Like this language and the language that is coming up has really you don't need to care about the jobs. There are a lot of jobs. Coming to freelancing also, the freelancing demand for JavaScript is huge. If you know the Moon stack, that is the MongoDB, then the Express, that is a framework on Node, so it's Express.js. The Node, the React, they're like MERN. So if you know this framework, it's a stack. It's known as a Moon stack. If you know the stack, then you can easily get a job in some startup or easily get a job in some companies too. I'm not sure about the companies using this stack, but yeah, you can easily get a job using this Moon stack. And JavaScript jobs are really increasing day by day. The demand is increasing day by day. And to the freelancing, yeah, I see a lot of them demanding for React. React, if you just went to a website named angel.co, you can also check it. It's for internships and things. I went there and I saw like I just searched for front end engineers. So I hardly found people who needed HTML and CSS and Bootstrap, though these technologies are really important to learn. I wouldn't say that it's waste or it's not in demand. It do has a lot of demand. HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, but React. So a lot of people using React and Angular, and there are a lot of jobs for JS. So if you learn JavaScript and then a framework also, it's it's like Google uses Angular and it's in YouTube. I guess Google uses Angular here and the YouTube web app. I guess I'm not sure, but yeah. So yes, you can see the demand of JavaScript is so JavaScript is really loosely typed. JavaScript is easy. So if as we considered before for other languages, if you consider for this language, then it's really easy to learn JavaScript. I have done my JavaScript, like I've done the ES6 version, and I got into Node and Express too, and it's really easy. It isn't a big deal to learn JavaScript. And also today nowadays I'm learning React too. We'll finish, hopefully finish in some weeks. So yeah, so you can see like JavaScript isn't really difficult, and uh, if you want to build web apps, then JavaScript is really a fundamental thing for you. It should be a fundamental thing for you. Coming to the third factor, that is a community and trends. So I told you that it's a really growing trend. The trend is increasing day by day. The JavaScript jobs are increasing day by day. The places where JavaScript is used is also increasing. They are trying to use it in different applications, and it is also used in app development by React Native. That's a framework named React Native. So React is for web apps, React Native is for app development. So now you can develop apps with JavaScript. So that's really amazing, right? So yeah, JavaScript trend is really great. Community is also one of the biggest communities out there. So you can really go out, search on your websites, and it's really unlikely that again your doubt won't be clear. The top five languages have really good communities. So and if you have any doubt, you can come on YouTube, or you can personally ask any of your mentors, or you can personally message me also about JavaScript doubts. I'll clear it if I can. Okay. And so yeah, so JavaScript is really good language. If you want to learn JavaScript, I would say it is a really good choice. Go with JavaScript, then do some UI frameworks like React. Then if you want to do app development with JavaScript, get into React Native. If you want to do backend development, go with Node. And if you want to do machine learning, then go with TensorFlow JS. So guys, let's move on to our first language. So, guys, at last we're on the first language, and I guess many of you have guessed it already because it's really popular language. It's popping up everywhere, literally everywhere. And yeah, the first language is Python. You guessed it right. So, guys, the first language is Python. Python, whatever you call it. And no, this language is simply great. It's my personal favorite. And why developers really love Python is because it's very productive. Literally, it's like 99, 98% productive in my case. And the code you need to write in Java, like if you want to print hello, it's like 3 to 4 lines code. Or I'm not sure. I had seen it on a YouTube video, so I'm not an expert in everything. I'm just a learner, and I want to share my knowledge with you. So yeah, so if you come like this hello world is written like print hello world in Python. And people really love Python due to this reason: productivity, the lesser number of code you write, and its application. The places where it can be applied is literally maybe uncountable too. I have never thought that Python will evolve, and the evolution of Python is really great. And if you check any website or trends, then Python is on number one right now everywhere. Python is really great. So where is Python used? So Python is used as a general purpose programming language. It is used in machine learning and artificial intelligence, that are really upcoming fields. So if you're really interested in the artificial intelligence, machine learning, or want to give it a try, then Python is a must. Like if you want to do ethical hacking, cybersecurity, there too Python has a really good hold. Coming to fields like web app development, should you know Python? Yeah, you should learn Python for that too. There's a high level Python framework by the name Django. That's really great. I personally use it because Django is simply great, and it's very secure, and I really love Python. So maybe there's something like if you learn Python, if you love Python, then you're gonna love Django. There's also Flask. I never tried it because I don't know, but I never tried it. Mobile apps can be developed with Python. There's a framework by the name Beeware, Beeware. You must really try it out, though it's not that famous. And I don't see any big application or some okay application running on Beeware. It's not used so much in app development, but it's not the case that you can't develop an app with Python. And Python is also used in backend in Instagram. You don't know Django is the backend of Instagram. It uses like I think React Native in the front end of it uses React Native for its Instagram uses React Native in the front, and I guess it uses Django in the back end. And I was a bit confused, about these technologies. I don't remember about them. And so yeah, Python. About talking about the factors, just as I said, like back in the JavaScript section, that you don't need to care about jobs in this section. Very big companies like Microsoft, Google, Instagram, Facebook. Facebook has powered some of the image section with Python. I don't know that. So these big companies have really big demand for Python. And now, see, we are talking about really big companies, but there are also some other companies, like these are really very famous ones. There are also companies that are famous locally or maybe famous nationally, something like that. These companies also use certain technology, so you must check it out. Just don't stick to these companies, try everywhere. That would be my advice. So yeah, Python is almost used everywhere. Python is also used in data science. I forgot about that. Data science is a really good upcoming field now. Like a lot of colleges in India have started giving data science as a degree. Like I heard a lot of them. Many of the IITs have also started, take the study program of 6 months for data science. So if you want to check it, you just visit their website. I think IIT Madras or IIT Delhi has one. Yeah. So coming to the trends, jobs, there are a lot and lot of jobs in Python. So when I say that when you do Python, you also need to do something like maybe you go into Django, or maybe you go for ethical hacking, or maybe you go for network security or networking in Python. So I wouldn't say that only do Python. After Python, choose a specialization in Python. Maybe it's web app development, or maybe it's something different. There are a lot of fields in Python, like the finance field. Covering the finance field with Python, uh, it's highly used in finance also. It's like predicting the stocks and that thing. So yeah, Python is really great. Coming to freelancing, uh, freelancing also has a lot of, like, I had received around four uh, for DMs, like, please, like, I was there in the Python community. So if you are a Python developer, please contact us, and we have a job vacancy for you. So I applied for three, but due to my exams, I had to cancel all three of them. I didn't give any interviews. One, I wasn't eligible because it was for networking. So yeah, you can see, like, I'm not a really expert, or I'm not uh, no, done something great. Then to these are approaching me. So and the different way of evolving is that you need to join communities to people must know that you're a Python developer. It is not like that. No, if you are applying for on-campus placements or off-campus placements, it's okay. But if you have an aim of freelancing and stuff, then you must have some online presence. So that's important. Coming to the other ease of learning. So I would say Python. I feel Python to be really easy. It's really easy, and you don't need to do a lot of stuff in Python. Uh, I would say that Python may be the easiest in the file languages. Yeah, because even JavaScript maybe isn't that easy as Python. Relatively, I'm speaking relatively. So ease of learning of Python is great. It's really easy. Coming to the third section, that is our trends and community. The Python trend is going like this. Okay, going like this. It will never come down. I don't guess it's gonna come down in some years like this. So it's really going like this. It's forwardly increasing. The demand is increasing. The number of companies using Python is increasing. A lot of companies like Amazon are investing a lot into their models, like the Alexa, which is an AI framework. Sorry, AI bot. So you can see the importance of AI and machine learning is popping up, and many of the colleges again have started this thing like AI and machine learning. I think There's IIT Hyderabad, which gives you a degree in AI. So in that case, you need to know Python. It's really, I may say that Python is mandatory maybe, because many of these guys check that if you know Python. And the community, so if you guessed Python as the biggest community according to Stack Overflow, Python had the biggest community in 2020. Uh, yeah, Python has the biggest community. So if you want to learn, if you aren't like clear like what you want to do, but you wanted to get into the programming world, then I would say Python is the best choice for you. Like without any doubt, go for Python, because Python is going to open a lot of doors for you. Like there's going to be data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning is used in web apps. I personally use it in web apps and machine learning things. So yeah, Python is really great. And so, guys, we're done with the five languages, and I hope you liked the video. So, again, I would like to say this file list is based on research, and it isn't like on my opinion that I love it, so I'm going to put it up. No, it's on research. So, yeah, these five languages, if you learn these, or I don't mean that learn all, learn one, be a master of one. It's said very rightly that jack of all trades but master of none. So yeah, don't be that thing. Master one language, and I don't say that now do only one language. You may also learn two. So maybe if you finish Python, you go to JavaScript, yeah, something like that. So yeah, do that, and I'm sure that you will be cracking some big tech companies. And if you do so, please comment down in the section. So guys, let's end the video here today. Hope you found it really helpful. Comment down the suggestions, like which videos do you want in the future. Comment down how did you feel the video about. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Destroy the button as I told you before. Let's meet you in the next video. Till that, bye bye.